Go to 1210WPHT.com.
The working families of La Una Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
There's nothing simple about choosing an engagement ring. Most people don't know where to start. That's why they turn to Family & Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton. JR will walk you through every step: diamonds, settings, styles, and how to choose what actually fits their budget and their partner. There's no pressure and no confusion, just straightforward guidance and a wide selection to compare with confidence. The goal is simple: leave knowing you made the right decision. Family & Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Senate race in Maine heating up with pressure mounting for Democratic candidate Graham Plattner to drop out of the U.S. Senate race following new accusations of sexual assault. ABC's Jay O'Brien says that race is crucial to which party will control the Senate.
Under Maine law, Plattner has just 5 days to drop out to be removed from the ballot. State Democrats would then have 2 weeks to select a new candidate, but there's no exact roadmap for how that process would go. Overnight, the executive director of the Democratic Party of Maine saying Plattner's team has reached out, accusing them of trying to dictate the next steps.
In Turkey, the NATO summit wrapping up, but before leaving, President Trump fielded questions from reporters centering on Iran. The president says the temporary ceasefire ended after Iran fired on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
The president also had declared today that that memo signed by the two countries is over, that the ceasefire is dead, and that he thinks that negotiating at this point with the Iranians is a, quote, waste of time. But there are still mixed messages from the president on where this goes from here, because he was also indicating that he thought his special envoy for the Mideast, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, could potentially continue engaging with the Iranians, even as he was saying it's over.
President Trump already lost a Supreme Court, which turned away his appeal last week, but President Trump is now hoping the courts will step in to keep him from having to pay E. Jean Carroll in a defamation case.
The $5 million defamation award to writer E. Jean Carroll stemmed from what President Trump said about an earlier case Carroll brought in which Trump was found liable for sexual assault. The president denied he committed any offense, and even after the nation's highest court rejected his final appeal in the defamation case last week, he's now filed another notice of an appeal of this latest order to pay.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting. On Wall Street, stocks are down. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life?
Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
In Massachusetts, nurses at one of the prestigious hospitals in the country on the picket lines today. Here's ABC's Dave Packer.
4,000 nurses at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston walking off the job this morning. They're demanding bigger raises and more affordable health insurance. In a statement, the hospital says it's fully prepared to continue providing high-quality patient care throughout a work stoppage, adding its nurses are among the highest compensated in the market.
The strike planned for one day. Some home care clinicians, though, are holding a separate strike. Carmelo Anthony, serving 35 years for killing a fellow high school athlete in Texas last year, is now asking for a new trial. The 19-year-old's new legal team claiming misconduct on the part of prosecutors and the judge.
After Carmelo Anthony was convicted of stabbing a student from a rival school at a track meet, Judge John Roach Jr. was interviewed by Dallas ABC affiliate WFAA. Asked whether the jury got it right, Roach said it did.
That's the process, and whatever they say, they get it right.
Carmelo Anthony's attorneys say the comment calls Roach's impartiality into question. They want a new trial and a new judge. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
A 70-year-old California man is recovering. That after being found alive 6 days after he went missing in the wilderness. The former Marine was severely hydrated when search and rescue crews found him. His family believes his military background helped him survive. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
From Jersey roots to the nation's air, she cuts through noise like she just don't care. Truth on the table, no sugar, no spin. If you wanna talk real, yeah, Mary's dialed in. Headlines breaking, but she's breaking it down. While the rest plays safe, she's the best in town. From across the globe to your ride home drive, she's got the facts and the fire. Liar, she'll never waver, yeah, she'll never falter. Turn up the volume. It's time for Mary Walter. It's Mary Walter Radio. Let's get into it.
Well, thank you, Newman. I do appreciate that. Hello, everybody. Halfway through the week. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad I'm here, too. I'm enjoying this. I don't think I'm with you tomorrow, though. I checked my calendar. I'm pretty sure I'm not with you tomorrow. Pretty sure I'm not. I have no idea who the person is who is going to be sitting in the seat instead of me, but I will leave it nice and warm for him or her. And they most likely will not be in an attic, which, hold on, I just got to fix this. There, that's better. Okay. It always looks a little crooked when I first start out because I have to move it when I do the show. So let's just do that a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that's a better camera angle. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day. Matt has done an amazing job once again. I hope that you guys appreciate Matt. He's amazing. He's such a good producer. Take it from someone who works with a lot of producers, some of them better than others, some of them. Matt is, if I ever get my full own show, I'm stealing Matt wherever I go. I'm taking him with me. All right. So coming up later at the next hour, 1 hour from now, Rachel Langham will be with us. She is a policy analyst at the Commonwealth Foundation. And then next, the last hour of the show, Dr. Michael Butler is back. He is a professor of finance and also the finance chair at Stockton University. He's also a Newsmax contributor. Oh, speaking of that, I will be on Newsmax 2 and 2 on the streaming channel tonight at 7:30. So you just go to YouTube and you type in Newsmax and the number 2, and it'll take you right there. And then you just click live and you can watch. I'll be on with Rick Leventhal. We're talking about the Charlie Kirk trial, the trial there. So I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to it, so I have to do a little bit of research beforehand. Because this isn't a trial. This is just to see if they are even going to have a trial, if there's enough evidence to take Tyler Robinson to court to try him over the murder of Charlie Kirk. So that's what they're doing now. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right. So how much am I loving Donald Trump at NATO? So much. So much. He just doesn't care. He even told him, you know what? I wasn't even going to come to this. I wasn't even going to come to this. Yeah. I have no need for you people. But he decided to come because it was being held in Turkey, and Erdogan, he says, is a friend. And so he decided, all right, I just came because it was being held in Turkey. And I guess he just wanted to go to Turkey. I don't know. And so he decided to go. He told Spain, you're done. We're done with you. We're not trading with you. And Scott Bessent was there. And he says, Scott Bessent, no more trade with Spain. He's like, okay, got it, boss. And that was that. And he's like totally dissing the leader of Spain. He's walking right past him. He's not shaking his hand. He's pretending like he's not even there. So he's totally mad at Spain. He called out a whole bunch of different countries as well. And he did a presser. This was earlier today. He will be doing one later. We may carry it live. It depends on what time it is, etc. But we may carry it live for entertainment purposes only, obviously. So I just want to start with cut one. So this starts it all. He was taking questions from the press, which he loves to do. And he's sitting there with the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. And Rudy told Politico in an interview podcast this week, and it was done at the Alliance Leaders Summit in the Turkish capital. So it was done at NATO. All right. And he said about Trump, I just like the man. I think what he is doing for NATO is great news. President Trump's doing the heavy lifting for Rutte. He's getting these countries to pony up their fair share. They hadn't been doing it for decades and decades and decades, and America was being taken advantage of. And nobody cared until Trump came along. And then Trump's like, wait a minute. Why are our citizens paying to defend your country when you don't put any money of your tax dollars into building up your own military? So why are we doing this? Is it because we're America, so we're just supposed to take care of everybody? Is that what this is? By the way, if you want to jump in, 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210, or you can tag me in a post on X at Mary Walter Radio. So Rutte, it looks like Rutte and Trump kind of get along really well, and I understand why Rutte likes him. As I said, Trump's doing his heavy lifting. He added that President Trump is basically achieving what, since Eisenhower, American presidents tried to achieve, which is to equalize the defense spending between the U.S. and Europe. President, as the number so far, 2 years, Trump's for the past 2 years, that's what Trump's done. The 31 non-U.S. NATO members have pledged $250 billion in new programs and defense investments, with new deals and pledges expected to be happening over the next 2 days while they're at the conference. He said, you have to build a NATO which is sustainable and therefore is not over-reliant on the U.S. as a stronger Europe and a stronger NATO, where the Europeans and the Canadians are really stepping up. But they're not just worried about pressure from Trump. They're also worried about Vladimir Putin, because they are insistent on continuing to support Ukraine, both with cash and weapons. But they want to build up their own defenses to deter Putin. Like, they want a strong Europe so that Putin doesn't say, well, when I'm done with Ukraine, I'm just going to roll right on through and get to the Baltic countries. I'm just going to hit those next. And is going to go into the stands. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan is going to go into the stands. And then, boom, Europe is right there. So they want to keep him at bay. So having strong militaries is part of the deterrence. He said, we've got to do this because of the Russians' threat, and we see what the Russians are doing in Ukraine. And the goal is to defend the 1 billion people in the NATO countries against the Russian threat, the massive Chinese buildup. Oh, yeah, the Chinese. I forgot about the Chinese. And the fact that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran all work together. And when Trump met with Rudy in the Oval Office last month, I think I remember that, Trump had some harsh words again, too. I love it. And Rudy just sits there and smiles like I'm in charge of all of the animals in the circus. Rudy is. He's like the ringmaster, and he's got this one guy over here who's like kicking all the other animals' butts and telling them to get in line. Trump said, we were let down. We didn't need any help on this at all. We demolished Iran literally in the first week, but it would have been nice if they would have said, hey, we'd like to help you. But Rudy said the U.S. probably would not have done up a fury without using Europe as one big platform of power projection. He noted that Romania closed their largest commercial airport to allow American planes to take off and land. Well, President Trump was asked at the presser earlier today about that. He was asked about his threat to draw down American troops in Europe, around the world, really. So listen to his response where, remember, Rudy said, well, they did help. Look at what Romania did. And he did note that, flights were taking off from around the world. So here is President Trump, cut one, at NATO on drawing down the troops.
We've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others, Canada, etc., but to protect people, countries from, generally speaking, it used to be the Soviet Union, now it's Russia. And I say that's fine, but you would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. In the case of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, I guess he's no longer there, maybe because of this. It was a very unpopular thing he did. He said, no, we'll help after the war is over. I said, I don't need that kind of help. We didn't need any help at all. And in a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there, because I've long said that we help them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
So you heard him call out the EU. You wasn't there for us. Italy turned us down. Germany turned us down. France turned us down. We were not treated very well, but I was just doing a little experiment just to see how we would be treated. And he's sending, obviously, a very clear message to the leaders there at NATO, which I just love the way he does it. It just cracks me up. Because he calls people out, they're at these events that are so choreographed and so stately and well, we have to act a certain way. And here comes Trump, and he's like, I'm just saying what I want to say. I am calling you out if I think you need to be called out. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not pussyfooting around here. I have work to do. I have things to do. And this is what I'm going to do. So I kind of love that's what he does. Now, so a couple of things also happened. And again, this all happened before what went on today at the UN. This happened overnight. We woke up to this morning, but it kind of sets the stage for what happened overnight that we'll talk about coming up. So the U.S. military launched new strikes against Iran early today. All right. So we woke up to that this morning. I'm like, wait, what? Again? But I kind of wasn't surprised that it happened because they don't play. Iran just is just the bully on the block, and they're not used to anybody pushing back against them. So now they're just striking at everybody. Now, this happened during the funeral for Ayatollah Khomeini, who's still not buried yet. I mean, the guy's been dead for like 2-3 months, and there's a couple of days to bury him. I don't know. In a statement posted to social media, CENTCOM said American forces launched the strikes to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping that was crewed by innocent civilians in an international waterway. What Iran wants is they want total control over the Strait of Hormuz. And the countries in the other countries in the neighborhood are like, hell no, that's a public park. That was always been a public park. Everybody's allowed to go to the public park. They even have, we're all allowed to go. We all know that. And we all play nice in the park until Iran says, no, I'm taking the whole thing for myself. And Trump's like, no, you're not. Because they want to charge admission to the public park, and the other people in the neighborhood are not having any of it. So what did he do? They just there's like, well, we're going to enforce it anyway. You can only go through the part of the park that we say is protected. You can't go in the rest of it. So Trump is not having any of it. So he said, that's it. They hit 3 ships that were staffed by civilian crew. And nobody was hurt, thank God. 2 of them just went on their way, which was fantastic. So so Trump was like, okay, we're going to play this game. Every time you hit ships in the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to bomb you. Like, that's just where we are right now. It's like having a kid who's just like, you take the door off, right? All right, you lost your bedroom door, you take the door off. My father would do that, take the door off. And so you have no privacy. And then they keep going. My brother was that kid who just kept going and going and would just like dare my mom to just, go ahead, wash my mouth out with soap. And my mother would, and he would stick his tongue out to get all of the soap on his tongue because he was just so defiant. He was that kid. So my mother had to keep upping the game with him as far as punishments went. And my other brother and I would just sit back and go, whew, got somebody to take the heat off of us. So the U.S. is struck them. Now, Iranian state media reported the sound of explosions in Qeshm and Bandar Abbas, but their deputy foreign minister said in a post on X that the attacks by the U.S., we violated the agreement. We violated the agreement. Like, how did we? You started this. We said we weren't going to do anything. We were giving you respect during the funeral of the Ayatollah, who takes apparently forever to bury, and we were going to give you respect while you did that, and we weren't going to do anything militarily, and you could have this funeral, and that's fine. But instead, you chose to bomb civilians. You chose to go after the ships. So we just retaliated, but it's our fault. We broke the agreement. And I'm sure that was for their people who don't know that they were hitting the ships in the strait. And the same thing happened last month. So the Iranian foreign minister condemned the U.S. move, saying in a statement that it violates the interim deal. Again, we did it. It's your fault. So we bear the responsibility for the consequences because they're going to hit us back hard. Like, I don't think they understand. I don't know if they don't understand, if they're stupid, if it's just this radical brainwashing of this radical ideology that they're so it's been so drilled into them, right? That they don't care because if they die, they're going to go to heaven and get 72 virgins and I don't know what else, but so they don't care. That doesn't bother them, or it does bother them, and they beat feet and they take the money and they go to like Russia or China or North Korea or some other country that'll take them in. One tanker was traveling off the coast of Oman, but that's not the approved rule. the approved route. Like they don't want you there. It did catch fire. The other two ships, as I said, they got some damage, but they went on their merry way. Tehran again declared that that only its approved route through the strait is safe. But people are going closer to Oman because they want to stay away from Iran. They're like, we're going to go closer to Oman, but that's not approved. So they're hitting those ships. Can you imagine having a kid like this? They all the attacks occurred off the coast of Oman or the UAE. So now there's this whole licensing thing. We issued a license by the U.S., and it gave them this license that authorized production, delivery, and sale of Iranian oil through August 21st. Now, we had sanctions on them since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. We didn't enforce it at all. Like, that thing was just not enforced. And President Trump said, okay, we're going to enforce it. Remember, put the blockade in, which was very effective. And he said, okay, we're going to give you a license. We're going to get to authorize the production, delivery, and sale of Iranian oil, but only through August 21st while we negotiate. So in other words, negotiate in good faith, and this is what you get. We'll allow you to sell some of your oil. Okay, carrot, stick, that type of thing. After the closure of the strait, the U.S., it was just temporary, as I said, towards making a deal only till August 21st. Well, guess what? We rescinded that license. We're back at it. They can't sell it again, and they have a dangerous buildup of oil. They only have so much room to put this oil. There's only so many places that they can put this oil. So they've got some problems on their hands. And Trump also, he also said that we may take Karg Island. That was the other thing he said, that we may take Karg Island. So I don't think anybody wants boots on the ground. And President Trump said that we would not have boots on the ground, but I also don't think that he thought that they were going to play this way. He told them when they were bombing, they did damage to Karg Island, but he said, I told our great pilots, and they did it beautifully, to not hit any of the pipes and to at least keep the infrastructure as much as they possibly could, because Trump knows what it's going to take to rebuild that. That's what he does. He's a builder. So he knows what a problem that would be to rebuild. So he is having them just not destroy anything there. All right. We have a lot to talk about. We got more from Trump. He was just talking today at NATO. We're not going to do a ton of it because if we take the presser this afternoon, that's probably going to be enough of Trump talking to the press. I mean, as much as entertaining as it is, I'm not allowed to drink during the show, which makes it more entertaining. So we're not going to do a ton. Plus, we have a lot to get to. We have Plattner to get to. We have to talk about schools. We've got some economic issues to talk about. So there's a lot going on here. So don't go anywhere. If you want to join in, 855-839-1210 is my number. I'm Mary Welter, and you're listening to 1210 WPHT.
When it comes to your home, you shouldn't have to roll the dice with a small contractor or pay the high prices of a giant one. At Lemus Remodeling Group, a family-owned company, you get the perfect balance. Expert exterior remodeling from a team that's nationally recognized and neighborhood trusted. From roofing and siding to windows, doors, and gutters, the Lemus team delivers quality work, honest pricing, and a home that feels brand new. Call 610-GO-LEMUS to schedule your free consultation today or visit their website at golemus.com. Lemus Remodeling Group. Trust Lemus for a lifetime.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Are you looking for a podcast about pro football that doesn't put you to sleep with an avalanche of analytics or insult your fandom with brainless hot takes? Well, hi. I'm Dan Hansis.
And I'm Mark Sessler.
Oh, hi, Mark. And we're the hosts of Heed the Call, the NFL podcast you've been waiting your whole life for.
Heed the Call covers every game, every storyline, everything that matters, and we do it all with a touch of mirth.
Football is fun. Why shouldn't your football podcast be the same?
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Audient Hearing.
Electric air taxi startup Joby Aviation is getting a helping hand from Toyota. Joby and Toyota are forming a joint venture to manufacture Joby's S4 electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, with the aircraft currently in the final stages of FAA certification. Joby plans to deliver an aircraft to Dubai this year to complete flight testing ahead of launching its commercial operations. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active. And it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor Portrayal.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
So President Trump is at the NATO summit in Turkey. And at the conclusion of it, of course, he held court. I guess if you work in the Trump administration, if you're like Scott Bessent, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, they were all there with a couple of others. You have to learn how to just stand there almost at attention. You have to wear super comfortable shoes because he holds court and they just all stand there while he does his thing. And it's pretty interesting to watch. I love watching those things just because I don't know if I could stand that long. Well, women don't, our shoes aren't as comfortable as men, so maybe that's why. 855-839-1210 if you would like to jump in here. So I wanted to play this. I thought this was really funny. I love this. I was watching this. And President Trump was giving Marco Rubio props on communism because Marco knows what he's talking about. And he is going to be the point person on Cuba. He is the point person on Cuba. And so President Trump talking to reporters here about the realities of communism.
Look, I want to get the word out because what's forming is communism in the country. And communism's easy to sell. I would be the greatest communist in history. I'd be right up there with Lenin. I'd be as good as anybody. You've got free rent for the rest of your life. What they don't say is that you'll be living in squalor in 12 months. You've got the free house. Would anybody like to have a free house? We'll take it away from somebody. We'll give it to you. You'll have murders all over the place. Communism's a disaster. It's been proven to be for thousands of years under different names, but same thing. It's very important. And, you know, it's funny. One of the reasons I do so well with Hispanic people, I set a record, Republicans. I get great numbers for the election, helped me get elected in a landslide. The Hispanics, because a lot of them came from countries that were essentially communist. You know, whether you call them radical socialist or communist is not that much, but there's a little difference. When they say social democrats, we're social democrats, it sounds so nice. It's not nice. It's a very dangerous term. So I do talk about it, and I talk about it on TikTok, and I talk about it everywhere. I talk about it here. And you're right, it has become international, but it's never worked, and it's not going to work. What is working is the United States. So think of it. We have more jobs than we've ever had. People are making more money than they've ever made. I'm talking about workers now. I'm talking about workers. They're making higher salaries than they've ever made before.
I just love when he sits there and goes, communism is easy to sell. I would be the greatest communist in history. Of course you would, sir. Anything you put your mind to, you will be the best. And it's so funny because that's just the way that he talks. But the left takes it so seriously and so literally. Of course, you know, communism's easy to sell. Anybody can sell communism. So he's like, yeah, I'd be the greatest communist ever. Of course, right? So I just thought that was funny. I want to go to cut 6. This also received a lot of attention, and he was talking about Iran and how they're very violent people, and they're just crazy.
Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I'd like you to address speculation that you're leaving Ankara not in the new Air Force One because of security concerns involving Iran. You've spoken today twice about them possibly assassinating you and possibly being successful. Did that concern have something to do with it?
Well, I speak about it a lot because, you know, the life of a president is very dangerous. It's 5.2%. You know what a race car driver is? 1/10 of 1%. A bull rider, that looks pretty dangerous to me. It's 1/10 of 1%. No, it's 5.2% is you don't make it. You should have told me. You're an excellent reporter. You should have told me that years ago. Maybe I wouldn't have run. It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm number one on the kill list for Iran. They're lovely people. I'm number one. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it because we have a country that's hot and really, really successful. But I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm number one on. I like being number one on TikTok better, but I'm number one on the list for killing.
Yeah, and that got a lot of attention when he said that for obvious reasons, and he did not leave on the new Air Force One, which I thought was odd, and. I do like the paint job on the new Air Force One. I think it's beautiful. I really like it better than the baby blue. I think Jackie O picked out the baby blue. And she had her style. I think she was beautiful. I love the way she dressed. I'm very into tailored classic clothes because you don't have to trendy. You have to constantly be turning them over. Classics are forever. So I love that. And she was into the classics. The last thing I want to do here with Trump is cut 11. I had said that he cut off Spain. And he was not speaking to the president of Spain. He wasn't even looking at him. He told Scott Bessent, "We're done. We're not doing any trade with Spain." So here is President Trump actually talking about that. We have that cut. So here's President Trump just saying, "We're done with Spain."
And I want to thank Mark. He's been a great Secretary General of NATO. I'm not happy with NATO because of what they did with Greenland. And I'm not happy with NATO because of the fact that they didn't want to help us with the number one state sponsor of terror. That's Iran. They were unwilling to help us. Now, in all fairness, they didn't speak to Mark about it. I think if I did, it might have been different, but we didn't need help. but I was really testing. I wanted to see whether or not they'd be there. And the answer is they were. I spoke to Germany, I spoke to France, spoke to UK, spoke to Italy, I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate, they don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits. Okay, we don't want anything to do. Watch them come running back. Oh, they'll come running back. They treat this man terribly, and this man's a good man too, great man. They're lucky they have him. But Spain doesn't agree to anything, and you shouldn't carry him. I mean, you sort of automatically carry because you're protecting an area, so they're there. So they probably figure they have to protect us, right? But we don't have to, and we don't have to trade with them. I don't want to do any more trade with them. All right?
Yes, sir.
Take it immediately. Don't even talk to them. They're hopeless.
Don't even talk to them. Like, he just decided right then and there, we're not having anything to do with Spain. We're not having anything. Cut them off. Not even visits. That's it. But so you could tell, like, it was at that moment, his anger was just like, that's it, I'm done. He and Rudy clearly like each other. They clearly, he doesn't like that Spain didn't treat Rudy well. And so he was done. He was out. He was finished. Not having any more of this. And that's that. All right. I want to talk. Let me find out where's my Mitch McConnell stuff. So I've got all different numbers here. But Mitch McConnell, you know which number this is, right? The Mitch McConnell stuff. You got it? Okay, 3. All right, fantastic. So yesterday, we talked about Mitch McConnell. Switching gears here. We talked about Mitch McConnell yesterday, and we talked about how, not yesterday, because I was on with you yesterday, the day before, we were talking about Mitch McConnell. And we were talking about the the reports that he was not doing well, that he was not alive, etc., or he was just on life support. And we didn't really know what was going on, but that was from 2 different sources who claimed to have inside knowledge, inside track from the White House. Inside sources at the White House. And then we know his wife, 3 days after he's admitted to the hospital, she beats feet and she goes to China. I'm like, well, who does that? Who does that? I mean, like, all right, if my husband was in like a coma and doesn't know if I'm there or not, and the girls are going out, maybe I would leave him and go. Kidding. I would not do that. Just be honestly, in all seriousness, like, even if you thought like there's no way this person's ever waking up again, and they're like, no, go. You should go do your, go take some load off, go see, go have dinner with friends, go do that. The guilt factor alone, I would never do that because people are going to talk. People are just going to talk, right or wrong. They're going to do it. So I would not, I wouldn't go, but she had no problem doing it. So we now know that according to the Daily Caller News Foundation, Mitch McConnell's office sent an email yesterday that included a compilation of statements from senators and friends of his and acquaintances, all claiming that they spoke to him and discussed some certain things, but all of the amount of time that they spoke to him was like 17 minutes, 20 minutes. It was all around the 20-minute time. And they all discussed like the same topics. It almost sounds like when the Democrats send out an email and it's just talking points and they just read them and they all have the same video. They all put out the same video with the exact same words. Kind of what this sounds like. Now, his office provided no new details on his health. We know he was hospitalized June 14th. And we now know from the Daily Caller News Foundation that paramedics found him unconscious inside of his home in D.C., and they performed CPR for a cardiac arrest. Now, John Thune told the Daily Caller News Foundation that on June 15th, the next day, that McConnell was dialed in on their conference's legislative calls and sounded good on the phone. So he was unresponsive. They had to perform CPR on him allegedly for cardiac arrest. And less than 24 hours later, he's dialed in on a phone call with the conference. And now 3 weeks later, he's still in the hospital. I mean, wasn't born yesterday. It's just not adding up for me. I'm super, super sorry. And I even when I was talking about it, I said, we don't know that this is true. We don't know what's really wrong with him. But this, I know they can't afford to lose the seat. So maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. But when you're not clear, this is what happens. People talk, and this is the stuff that happens, and people start to go, this doesn't add up. So let's see, what is the email that was sent out said, as the senator, and this was sent to a bunch of people, as the senator continues to recover, we will be sure to keep you updated. Wanted to flag the following tweets for you, and I'm sure you'll have the latest statement from a McConnell spokesperson. Senator McConnell appreciates the outpouring of support he's receiving while he continues his recovery in the hospital. The senator continues to improve and is working closely with his staff on Kentucky and Senate matters while the Senate is out of session. Okay. So they highlighted a whole bunch of tweets from people who said, oh, I talked to Mitch McConnell today. I just talked to Mitch McConnell. Everybody just talked to Mitch McConnell. About 20 minutes, and this is what we talked about. The statements, according to the Daily Caller News Foundation, included similar details, including the length of the conversations with McConnell and what they discussed. Thune claimed he spoke to McConnell on the phone on Monday, where they had, quote, lengthy and substantive conversation about topics such as national security. Senator Majority Whip John Barrasso claimed yesterday that he spoke to McConnell for roughly 20 minutes about a variety of political topics, including the main Senate race and the Iran war. And let's see, Senator Barrasso and Senator McConnell had a lengthy conversation. This is Barrasso's communications director telling the Daily Caller News Foundation that Senator Barrasso and Senator McConnell had a lengthy conversation early this afternoon. Their phone call lasted roughly 20 minutes. Okay. They caught up about the latest news impacting Senate races, the Graham Plattner scandal, and the recent Supreme Court ruling on coordinated spending limits. They also discussed the Senate's July work period, including the need to pass the NDAA and confirm President Trump's nominee for DNI. Senator McConnell was fully engaged and is eager to get back to the Senate. I feel like I'm listening to the Democrats tell me that Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. Because do you remember Mitch McConnell? Like, he was freezing up. He was falling down. I don't know how dialed in Mitch McConnell really is even on a good day. Like before this. How dialed in was Mitch McConnell? So I'm supposed to believe he's better than dialed in now, like that he normally was? It's kind of weird. So I just want to go to cut 3 here. This is Scott Jennings from CNN, Scott Jennings, who also claimed he had a 20-minute phone call with Mitch McConnell. You judge for yourself.
Yeah, he called me this morning before I did my radio show. We talked for about 17 minutes. He talked a lot about the situation with Iran, talked a little bit about Ukraine and what's going on in Europe. I told him I'd been to the Teddy Roosevelt Library. We talked a little bit about the history of the vice presidency and how Roosevelt had transformed that in the modern presidency, a little history of the Senate. It was a wide-ranging conversation. I talked to him often. I hadn't talked to him since he'd been in. I'd gotten a few text messages from him, but I hadn't spoken to him. So it was good to hear his voice. Voice sounded strong and sounded like he was keeping up with the news to me.
Did you ask him how he was feeling?
Yeah, he said he was feeling okay, obviously well enough to call me on the phone and obviously well enough to talk to Barrasso and Thune. Now, look, I'm not qualified to discuss any medical issues or give you any information about that. That's really for him or his staff to do. But, I talk to him from time to time, and I see him from time to time. And, we had a conversation today about the things that we normally talk about, which are news of the day, political stuff.
Did you come away feeling like he's still capable of serving the people of Kentucky as senator?
I came away feeling that he was staying on top of the news. Again, look, his condition and why he's in the hospital or when he might come out or look, that's.
Do you know why, and are just saying it's not at liberty to share?
I do not know why. I only know, frankly, what has been reported or what his office has said. So it was a personal, private call, but I didn't probe him too deeply for his medical records.
Okay, I respect that. But he's having all these conversations with people, but he's not well enough to get out of the hospital. How come? Now let's go back to his wife. Oh, you know what? We'll take a quick break. Then we go to his wife, all right, about Elaine Chao, who beat feet and went to China. after her husband's in the hospital after being found unresponsive on the floor, CPR, heart attack, and 3 days later, she's like, no reason for me to hang around. I'll just go to China. So we'll talk about that coming up next on 1210 WPHT.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hi, this is Dave Barlow from Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury, New Jersey. Baseball season is heating up, and so are the savings here at Barlow. The All-Star Buick GMC lineup is waiting for you. Leading off, the powerful GMC Sierra, built to knock expectations out of the park and be the MVP of every road trip. Visit Barlow Buick GMC this summer, where honest pricing and dedicated service are always part of the lineup, or shop 24/7 at barlowautogroup.com. Buick, exceptional by design. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
First Harvest Credit Union celebrates the nation's 250th birthday with community, progress, and financial freedom. We're here to help your money grow. Earn 3.75% annual percentage yield on a 15-month share or IRA certificate, or choose our 18-month option and earn 3.6% annual percentage yield. Discover more options at firstharvestcu.com/certificates, including our growth savings and growth checking accounts. Membership restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back. All right. This, to me, is the story. Yeah, where's Mitch McConnell? What's his status? Blah, blah. But this is what I want to know. This is what I want to know. So, Elaine Chao is McConnell's wife, and she was a transportation secretary, I believe. So, she, 3 days after Mitch McConnell is put in the hospital, apparently it was found unresponsive. We still don't even know that. That's what the Daily Caller News Foundation is reporting, and they're usually pretty good. But supposedly found unresponsive, CPR, heart attack. Again, don't know if that's what it is, but it was something big because he goes in the hospital. He's still there 3 weeks later. And on the third day, he went in on June 14th. On June 17th, his wife, Elaine Chao, whose family is very wealthy, they are Chinese, they are into shipping, I believe it is, and she's very, very politically connected, and her family does a ton of work, a ton of business with China. So she's the moneymaker in this whole thing, all right? Nobody knew if she was back, nobody knew if she was still in China, but she gets up and she leaves 3 days after her husband's still in the hospital. I mean, again, my Catholic guilt would kick in, and my husband could be telling me, no, you should go. I'd be like hell, I'm going because your mother's going to talk about me because I went, even though you told me to go. I'm not falling into that trap. That is not happening. So no, I'm sitting right here. I'm not going anywhere until you're out because this is a no-win situation for me. I see that trap being laid. Her spokesperson told Fox News Digital that the secretary was on a long-planned trip into China to support her family's philanthropic endeavors. Oh, she's on a goodwill mission. That's what it is. She was photographed with the vice president of China, the two of them saying, oh, we have to improve relations. I'm like, that's what you went to China for a photo op, and just to say that we have to improve relations between China and the U.S.? That's why you went there? Yeah, it screams red flag to me, and I so want to know what's really happening. So she was to support her family's philanthropic endeavors because, they're givers. They're very, very philanthropic. During the trip, she met with a number of people, including the U.S. ambassador. Oh, well, then there you go. The senator's health did not warrant an immediate return to the U.S. If he's in such great shape, why is he still in the hospital? If Joe Biden was so mentally sharp, why was he wandering off in the woods and Giorgia Meloni, the president of Italy, had to grab him and turn him around? They had to have the Easter bunny curtail this guy. Oh, yeah, but he's sharp as a tack. I'm sorry, but I'm seeing the same thing play out here. Am I the only one? And if her husband was really bad, if Mitch McConnell really is not having these conversations with people, I don't know, I'm kind of doubting it. I'm a little suspicious. Maybe he is. I'm suspicious. Then, okay, but is that a reason to just say, well, you know what? Guy's a vegetable. He's never coming out of whatever it is, and who knows? Might as well go to China. Can you imagine? To her, I guess it's like the rest of us going to Aruba with the girls. It just so doesn't add up, and I just feel and I may be totally embarrassed and be 100% wrong, but I just feel like they're trying to get me to believe something that my own lying eyes told me a year ago wouldn't be true. If you told me a year ago that Mitch McConnell was in the hospital for 3 weeks, or I would be like, yeah, because have you seen him? I think it is just abusive to have him still sitting in that seat as it was for them to keep Joe Biden in office. I really do. I think it's elder abuse. I think it's terrible. He clearly is frail. He's clearly failing. Now, if your brain is still there, that's fine. But we watched him freeze up on camera with his mouth open, just staring, unblinking. And we're all like, whoa, somebody reboot McConnell. He's stuck. He's in a loop. That to me wasn't healthy. How did they not know? So I don't know. I think it's abuse, elder abuse. That's just me. But I want to know what's going on with here because the whole wife thing doesn't add up. And I know this because I watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. So I'm on to them. All right, coming up, Rachel Langan will be joining us. We're going to talk about the continued attack on school choice in Pennsylvania. And, I think school choice is great because all the people who are against it send their kids to private school. So that's how I know that school choice is a good thing. But we'll talk about it more with Rachel coming up on 1210 WPHT.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Looking for an auto repair shop you can actually trust? McCullough's Auto Repair has been serving Delco since 1999. They believe honesty, fairness, and friendly service still matter. Chuck and Ralph run the place. No matter your car's issue, they'll explain it in plain English and help you decide what really needs to be done now and what can wait. Chuck's motto is, I'll never steer you wrong. Call McCullough's at 610-446-1230 and ask for Chuck or Ralph. Or visit McCulloughsAutoRepair.com.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy. Or Wells Fargo, for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Turkey, after meeting with NATO allies and leaders on the sidelines, President Trump spoke to reporters about Iran. He says the memo of understanding is over after Iran fired on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. responding with strikes, but the president says he doesn't think the war will resume.
The Iran war has been a tremendous military success. And, you know, I can only answer the question by saying they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. I was there for one reason, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I call it, we denuclearize Iran, and that's happened. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
In Utah, day 3 of a preliminary hearing underway for Tyler Robinson. He's the man charged in the fatal shooting of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk on campus last year. Robinson has not entered a plea. His attorneys trying to get the death penalty off the table. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
There had been indications that the state was going to play video testimony. They had said they were going to, of Tyler Robinson's former roommate and romantic partner, which then the defense had fought against because they wouldn't be able to cross-examine, being that it was going to be video recorded. But they indicated that they're going to be done after their 2 witnesses. So they may have decided they don't need to play that they don't have to put that out there and let everybody know what they've got with that, and let the defense know unnecessarily what they've got and what the roommate said to them.
Emmy nominations out today. The ER drama The Pit led overall nominations, earning 25 for its second season. And Hacks right behind with 24, breaking the record for the most nominations for a comedy series. Newcomer Widow's Bay landed 19 nominations. The late Rob Reiner nominated for his guest acting on the series The Bear. And Bad Bunny nominated for a Super Bowl halftime show. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
There are growing bipartisan concerns over the status of Republican Senator Mitch McConnell's health. A spokesperson for the 84-year-old confirmed he was admitted to the hospital on June 14th, but there has been few updates. Now McConnell's wife, Elaine Chao, is speaking out.
China, as far as we are aware, prior to this medical episode of McConnell's, her presence sparked a lot of rumor on social media. Frankly, a lot of this has sparked a lot of rumor on social media. She has now issued a statement to our affiliate, WHAS, in Louisville, Kentucky, and it says, in part, quote, the secretary was on a long-planned trip to China. During the trip, she met with a number of people, and then she goes on to say that, quote, the senator's health did not warrant an immediate return to the U.S.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. New details emerging about the Ohio family after 16 children were removed from the home due to deplorable conditions. 4 family members charged with child endangerment. Now one defendant, Gary Sider Sr., has been waived bail due to a medical issue.
The prosecutor today said that he is no threat to the public, that he will be treated outside of Benton County, because otherwise he would have been on the county's, it would have been the county's responsibility to provide for his medical care. As the prosecutor put it, it would have bankrupted Benton County. Now, if he is released from the hospital from there, he will have a GPS monitor before this trial begins.
ABC's Alex Brachet, Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Do you let other people order for you at a restaurant?
He'll have the saumon lyonnaise.
No, I won't. Or pick the movie you're gonna see?
She'd like a ticket to Attack on Rage Mountain.
Really?
Yeah, come on. So why would you let others make all the important decisions about how your life is going to be when you get older? I mean, is it okay with you if your kids decide where you're going to live?
My kids? Are you out of...
Are you kidding?
Or perfect strangers choose who'll be taking care of you?
Not gonna happen.
No, Better visit longtermcare.gov, the trusted information site that helps you find your own path forward without selling you anything. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Stay in charge by planning now or pay later.
How about a mohawk? How about a mohawk? How about I put my foot right... Oh, hi, honey.
WPHT, HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
From Jersey roots to the nation's air, she cuts through noise like she just don't care. Truth on the table, no sugar, no spin. If you wanna talk real, yeah, Mary's dialed in. Headlines breaking, but she's breaking it down. While the rest plays safe, she's the best in town. From across the globe to your ride home drive, she's got the facts and the fire. Liar, she'll never waver, yeah. Yeah, she'll never falter. Turn up the volume. It's time for Mary Walter. It's Mary Walter Radio. Let's get into it.
Newman, you're the best. Thank you so much. I'm Mary Walter with you here on 1210 WPHT. This time next hour, Dr. Michael Busler will be joining us. He is the professor of finance and a finance program chair at Stockton University. Guess what we're going to talk about? Money, the economy, finances. It's not so hard to guess what we're going to talk about when you have a guest like that. Right now, though, it's pretty easy to get to know what we're going to talk about with this guest, Rachel Langan. She's the Senior Education Policy Analyst at the Commonwealth Foundation. Rachel, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm well.
Good. So let's talk about school choice in Pennsylvania. Now, I know you want to talk about these two bills that Democrats were pushing forward before the break for the 4th of July holiday for Independence Day. There's two bills that they're pushing forward, HB 2632 and then amendments to HB 1667. And the people are worried that this is going to dismantle the educational tax credit program that you have in Pennsylvania, which, by the way, I did some research, is actually doing really well and enrolled the second highest number of students in the country, just behind Florida. So it's in demand. So first of all, why do Democrats want to dismantle it?
Well, that is a great question. I can only speculate. I think that Democrats have convinced themselves that by changing this bill to be very punitive, that they are somehow helping a certain segment of kids and keeping others from getting the help that they need. I don't honestly know. I would say that this bill is very punitive, though, and it will eliminate this popular scholarship program if it were to be passed by the Senate. So currently the House passed it. All Democrats voted for it. They're standing together to cut a program that serves working class kids and families in every single county in Pennsylvania. We have over 100,000 kids annually taking advantage of these scholarships, and at least 30,000 of them would not be receiving a scholarship under this bill.
So what does this bill change?
That is also a very good question. So the current Education Improvement Tax Credit Program has been going for 25 years, very popular. So what this bill would do would be to let the program sunset after 1 year. So this time next year, we'd be looking at the complete elimination of the program. They would introduce a brand new program that is very punitive. And so that program would tie income eligibility to the legislature passing minimum wage increases. So kids receiving scholarships have nothing to do with minimum wage. So it's sort of a way for Democrats to get something that they want by like holding kids hostage, essentially. It would create new reporting requirements for schools and scholarship organizations. It would require schools and scholarship orgs to share their private donor information with the General Assembly. And that is we view this as a huge violation of privacy. Currently, these scholarships are all funded privately, and this would make that information public. And then one more way that this is a very punitive bill is that currently when donors participate, they can get up to a 90% tax credit. So let's say you donate $10,000, you can get a tax credit for $9,000 of it. But this bill would change that so that you would only get a 75% credit. So for a $10,000 donation, you're going to get $7,500 back. And that is going to mean overall less money going into the EITC bucket just because they will have reduced the donation amount.
Yeah, so it seems to me as if they're slowly but surely trying to just pare it down until it just doesn't exist anymore. That seems to be what's going on here, because they know if they just try to take it away totally in one shot, people are going to scream. But it's like the frog in the pot. If it's slowly, it's those people who didn't get in, but I'm still poor enough I can get in. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Why you would want to hurt the people who would benefit the most. And you said something about, like they want to keep them down almost is what it seems like. But yet those people all either don't vote at all or they vote Democrat. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, well, you get what you vote for.
Yes. And we saw the Democrats get in line. Every single one of them in the House voted for this program, even though there was vote to end this program, even though there was huge outpouring of constituents reaching out to lawmakers saying, please don't cut this program. Like, my child depends on this. Lawmakers received thousands, potentially even tens of thousands of emails on this topic, and that caused them to step back. They originally passed the bill, then they came back and amended it a few days later and said, okay, you know what? We're actually not going to cut it the first year because, like, people that have to send their kids to school in a couple months. So we're going to let it go for one more year. Then we're going to cut it. So that was sort of their way to walk it back.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm looking at this web page called edchoice.org. So they're all about school choice, all right? And they track school choice on all of these states. And they said in Pennsylvania, families must earn below a household income threshold of $116,055 plus roughly $20,000 per dependent to qualify for the EITC program. And the Opportunity Scholarship Tax Credit, which is yet another program, okay, they must also live within the attendance boundary of a low achieving public school. And I think that that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah. If you're living in, a higher up, there's not a lot of money in the pot. So that I don't have a problem with that. It's just like you have to prove that you live in the district legally, right? Unless, of course, you're in the country illegally. And then that's only for citizens, though. You're in the country illegally. You can go to school anywhere you want. But they found that the scholarship awarded 23-24, the last year that they had numbers for, was about $2,700, just 16% of public per student spending, and a fraction of the funding offered by other large school choice programs. But they found that it is in such demand that they were only able to fill 101,751 scholarships, but they received over 170,000 applications. So about 69,000 students applied and were turned away, not because they didn't qualify, and not because there wasn't a school that wanted to take them, but because the program ran out of money. So there's caps on tax credit donations. Do you think that getting rid of that cap would help encourage more donations into the program?
I do think so, and there has actually been some changes over the years to the EITC program. There's a bucket within the program called EDS, it's Economically Disadvantaged Schools, and people who donate to that program receive a 99% tax credit with the thinking that this money is going to the poorest of the poor of Pennsylvania's kids, and so let's get as much money as we can to those schools by giving donors a 99% tax credit. It has actually been wildly popular, and we would anticipate if we would just go with the numbers and look at the youth, how many kids are demanding the scholarships and they're going unfulfilled, we'd be able to see that probably the best way to actually improve this program would be to increase the funding for the economically disadvantaged schools, because that is, in effect, helping the kids that need it most. So there's the EITC bucket that helps everybody everyone who applies and there's money, under that $116,000 annual threshold. But if you're talking to kids who are the economically disadvantaged students, those families earn somewhere between typically, $22,000, $24,000 a year, maybe up to like $65,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So those families are the ones who really are unable to afford tuition unless they have a significant tax credit scholarship.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different ways to do this. One is to raise the cap on the tax donations, tax credits, raise the cap. We were just talking about that. The other way to do it is do what Florida does. They have an automatic index for tax credits, which would allow the programs to grow proportionately with demand rather than requiring legislation continuously to raise the cap. It would just automatically move based on demand. And then there's another one, which is a learning investment tax credit. And it would provide families with a refundable tax credit up to $8,000 per child for private school expenses. So it gives them predictability, it gives them flexibility, and they have this in Oklahoma and Idaho. So it is, I mean, the whole movement is expanding across the country. So I think the Democrats in Pennsylvania are kind of trying to, keep the waves from coming on the sand here. But I like the idea of just giving it to everybody. There are plenty of people who make above the income limit, but don't have the money to send their kids to private school either. So I know there's got to be a cutoff, but maybe instead of doing a cutoff, we did that tax refund, and then everybody gets something to be able to send their kids to private school.
Yes, and that is something that we have been advocating for. And unfortunately, with the introduction of this poison bill to reduce the EITC program, we've had to really play a lot of defense instead of offense. But we have advocated for those in the past. We are fighting to prevent cuts to the program. And in fact, we are still fighting to increase the program, although it's right now we're just standing in the gap so they don't cut it further. But we are constantly advocating for improvements to the program always.
I think a big part of this, and when I have guests on and we talk about things like, along these lines that Democrats are doing this and Democrats are doing that, Republicans are really bad at messaging. Parents probably have no clue that this is going to happen. Parents have no idea that Democrats want this to happen. There should be rallies. There should be people on the streets. Do what the Democrats do. Have pre-made signs. Do the whole thing. You got to raise awareness. I think that's the biggest part of all this. And talking about tax credits and this and that and everything else, nobody understands that. Nobody understands it. They just don't. It's true. They don't. They're like, tax credits, tax caps. What are you talking about? Can my kid get money to go to private school? That's all I want to know. And dumb it down. You got to dumb the message down, not because people are stupid. It's just that people don't have time to pay attention and really delve into it, right? I mean, I did a little delving into it before this, but before like 4 hours ago, I didn't know, right? I had no idea. So I'm 4 hours into this. So that's where I think the gap is, and that's where I think the most effective use of dollars and time is, with awareness, instead of, like you said, we're standing in the gap. Well, if nobody knows you're standing there, what's the point of standing in the gap?
Right. Well, we have talked with schools about the need for them, when they award scholarships to families, to say, this is an EITC scholarship, this is an OSTC scholarship, so that families understand. Typically what schools will do is they'll say, this is your financial aid package. And so parents don't even understand, as you said, EITC or OSTC. So when it comes time for a cut, they're like, well, I don't know if that applies to my kid. Like, they don't know. And a lot of times when you talk to them, you'll find out that they're actually voting for the lawmakers who are voting to cut scholarships for their kids, and they don't know it.
Right.
So definitely awareness is the first step to activating parents.
And it's complicated. I mean, again, there's the EITC, OSTC, blah, blah, blah. Too complicated. If it were super simple, like everybody gets an $8,000, a sliding tax credit based on how much you make or whatever it is, super easy. I get the money back. That's all they need to know. It's a super easy thing to understand. And I think that politicians unnecessarily complicate things. And sometimes I think they do it purposely so that people don't know what's going on. No, people don't know what's going on. They're not going to complain about it, right?
Yes. Well, this is a wonderful segue to the federal scholarship tax credit, which 30 states have already opted into. It is a federal program. And that would work very similar to the tax credit you were just talking about. This is a $1,700 tax credit that anybody can claim as long as they have that much in federal tax liability. And then they donate that money to a scholarship organization that will provide scholarships for kids. So it is a way for families to access an additional revenue stream for tuition scholarships that is much easier for donors and also schools to administer, because it's administered federally.
And so how much? You can get up to $2,500 per student, correct?
So that's a really interesting question. It's actually going to vary depending on how many students apply and how many donations they receive. So year one, we're assuming a smaller number of people will take advantage of it because not as many will know about it. So we're expecting at least $500 million in donations should Pennsylvania opt in Pennsylvania year one. Then divide that by how many kids apply. Depends. I don't know. But hopefully that would amount to a couple thousand per kid. But this is a program that is not set to expire. So the cap is limitless. Over the next 10 years, we could see billions coming in that tax credit program.
I mean, it's interesting, but I do think that they should start looking at these majors that these kids are choosing and stop throwing money into majors where they're never going to make the money back that they're paying for that. I know the federal government's starting to do that. The Department of Education starting to look at some of these majors at these colleges and saying,
yeah,
if you're not going to make more money in 4 years than you were when you got out of high school, we're not giving you money for that major.
Yep.
And I think that that's important because that's when I got my loan, I went to a bank. My father took me to the bank and, he co-signed. He goes, but that doesn't mean I'm paying it. But the bank looked at what I was majoring in, where I was going to school, what I was majoring in, and then made a decision as to whether it was a good investment or not. And that's what I think we need to get back to because we and whether the kid can even hack it. So a lot of kids drop out freshman, sophomore, junior year, and now the money's gone. And it could have been money that was used on a kid who could hack it, who could handle college. So I think we need to get back to doing some of that as well when it comes to, especially if I'm donating money to this, I don't want my money to go to some big dummy, right? Or somebody who's like majoring in women's studies.
Right.
So I think
so that's a good point too. With a federal scholarship, you cannot identify a specific student to receive the scholarship. You can only identify the school. So then it is up to basically financial eligibility. There is no academic eligibility for the federal scholarship. Well, actually, not for EITC either. That's up to the school to determine. Do they believe that the student is academically sound to even get them in there in the first place?
Okay. Yeah, somebody, we got to get back to start making sure, like, I know you really, really want to go to college, but we kind of got into that Barack Obama brought in everybody should go to college thing and everybody has a right to go to college. And I'm like, I know a lot of people who should have never gone to college. Never. It just wasn't their thing, but that's okay. That's okay. They're much better at other things, and they finally found their way into what they were really good at that didn't require college. So it was a lot of money in 4 years of their life wasted because they had that thing pounded into their head that everybody should go to college. So.
Well, and for the kids who take out the loans and then drop out of college, they end up with a huge weight around their neck of having to pay back money without the college degree to get them the job to pay back the money.
Right. Exactly. Whereas if someone had looked at their grades in school, if someone had looked at the major they're looking at, the school they're going to, that may not have been put in that position. They would have been disappointed at the time, but in the end, they would have been better off. And I think sometimes we do a disservice to some of these kids, and it's just not right. Rachel Langan, thank you so much. Very interesting conversation. Appreciate all the good work you're doing. Where can people go if they want to find out more information about this?
CommonwealthFoundation.org.
Super easy. CommonwealthFoundation.org. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
More coming up on 1210 WPHT.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Electric air taxi startup Joby Aviation is getting a helping hand from Toyota. Joby and Toyota are forming a joint venture to manufacture Joby's S4 electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, with the aircraft currently in the final stages of FAA certification. Joby plans to deliver an aircraft to Dubai this year to complete flight testing ahead of launching its commercial operations. I'm Jason Brooks.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
All right, what's the weather like out there?
It's hot, 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 real hot.
Can you tell me what it feels like?
Were you born on the sun? I said it's hot.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Is this how you're feeling right now? Well, don't let your house feel like a rainforest anymore. To keep your home cool, contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
Pet parents, there are many sources to buy your pet food these days, but at Dogs and Cats Rule, we take special care in selecting our brands based on quality of ingredients, company transparency, and science-based nutrition. Coming into a Dogs and Cats Rule store with a dietary issue, we can help select the proper food. The best part of the visit is the shopping experience. That's Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 locations. For information online, visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Oh, I could listen to that. Just keep going. You don't want to hear me talk. Well, just listen to that. I'm Mary Walter. Welcome to the show. If you are just joining us, where the heck have you been? Later this evening, 7:30, I will be on Newsmax 2. That's their streaming channel. It's live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Newsmax 2. I'll be on with Rick Leventhal talking about the trial of Tyler Robinson. It's not a trial. It's just the evidentiary hearing thing to find out if they have enough evidence to move on to trial. So they're putting a lot of time into this, and the bar's kind of low from what I understand. I'm not a lawyer, but the judge is trying to be very, 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 very careful, which I totally 100% understand why he's trying to be super careful. So, okay. Can we talk about Graham Plattner? Because I'm kind of getting into this now. A little bit. We all know internal polling on the Democrat side said that Graham Plattner ain't going to beat Susan Collins. So they tried to pull what they did with Joe Biden, and they tried to pull what they did with Eric Swalwell and just, release the Kraken, and they tried to just, take him out. Apparently it's not working. All right. So let's go to cut 12. This is the executive director of the Maine Democratic Party, Devin Murphy Anderson, talking about the Senate race. So Plattner has to drop out by Monday, 5 o'clock on Monday. And they can't just take him out. He has to drop out. And then they have 2 weeks to decide who's going to be on the ballot. My hunch is they already know who's going to be on the ballot because this started a while ago. We know it started a while ago because names have been floated. And so we know that. So listen to this, though. I'm kind of digging this. It's, again, Maine Democratic Party Executive Director Devin Murphy Anderson. Go.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to provide you all an update on the U.S. Senate race here in Maine. As you know, the Maine Democratic Party has been working around the clock to develop a process to replace our U.S. Senate nominee that is open, inclusive, transparent, and fair. The integrity of this process is just as important as the outcome, and we are committed to ensuring that Democrats across our state can have confidence in both. Unfortunately, Graham Plattner's team has repeatedly reached out to us in an attempt to put their thumb on the scale of what this process looks like. We have repeatedly reiterated to Graham Plattner's team that they have no role in determining our next Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate, nor in determining what this process looks like. We have also reiterated that Graham Plattner must drop out of this race so that Democrats in Maine can focus on defeating Susan Collins this November. We look forward to making this process public as soon as Graham Plattner formally withdraws from this race.
I love it. I just love that he's totally messing with them. Totally messing with them. He's not going to go quietly into the night. And why did they even think he would? And you know what? They brought this on themselves. They didn't vet this guy. It's their own fault. They were. I'm convinced they were looking for an alpha male. And since there aren't very many on the left, they saw him and they're like, well, he's an oysterman. So he has a blue-collar job, and, he's not successful at being an oysterman. He made $5,000, and his only client is his mother's restaurant. But didn't matter to them. He looks alpha. So, they tried it with Tim Walz, and he kind of looked like an alpha. He was a coach. Hey, coach. But he had jazz hands, and he had a penchant for high kicking, higher than the Rockettes. And he was just goofy, and just see him with that shotgun, I was like, oh, dear Lord, he's going to kill somebody. So they tried, and it didn't work. But so Plattner to them kind of fits the bill, right? He's definitely more alpha. So alpha that he apparently likes to rough up women. So they went a little bit too far, as they often do. So now they got a problem on their hands. And they ignored all the negatives. If they hadn't ignored all the negatives, they would not be up against the wall right now, because whoever they choose is only going to have 99 days to campaign before the election. Only 99 days, which is less than Kamala Harris had, and you saw how well that turned out. Although I think you probably could have given Kamala Harris like a year and a half to campaign, 2 years, and it still would have turned out the same. So the Democrats did this to themselves. And I guess they just figured that Plattner would go into the night and that would have been it. But maybe they didn't even expect this was coming, because they did no vetting of this dude at all. They had no clue that this was in there. Come on. Let's see. Oh, yes, the leading candidates to beat him. All right, so Matt's giving me some notes here, but I also did some research as well. So who are they going to pick? Now, there is a name that's been going around, and I'll tell you, the guy's name that's been going around is Troy Jackson. Now, this is how we know that they were involved in this a while ago, because either at the end of last week or over the holiday weekend, there was a guy on X who tweeted out a picture of a screenshot of a survey he got, and he lives in Maine. And this survey said, hey, should Graham Plattner decide to drop out of the race, who would you vote for? And they were shilling for this guy, Troy Jackson. And he put this up there like, why would this be sent to me when the news came out about what was happening here with this other woman, Jennifer Rassicote, who accused him of raping her, that he tweeted that. It goes, I took this screenshot because I thought it was really weird. Now it all makes sense. But he doesn't know who it was from. So he doesn't know, was it from the Jackson campaign that's already organized? Was it from the Democrats? He doesn't know. So they knew already. And this is why I say they have their candidate already. So Ro Khanna is already, after he pulled his endorsement for Plattner, is floating this guy, the former state Senate President Troy Jackson. Jackson was a vocal Plattner supporter. And so now some people are like, well, he's kind of tied up with him. So is that going to be bad? Another replacement is Nirav Shah, who is a former Maine health official, finished second in the governor's race. Shanna Bellows, Maine Secretary of State, they both ran for governor. They both have urged Plattner to leave the race. And now Shanna Bellows, thank you very much here, Matt, for this information. She, as I said, Maine Secretary of State, and she tried to remove Trump from the ballot, the primary ballot in 2024, claiming that he was an insurrectionist and was ineligible for office. And of course, the Supreme Court ruled her down, shot her down. So she's got exactly what they want in Maine. She's got the TDS. She's got it bad, and she's not afraid of trying everything to get Trump. So they kind of want that. Dan Kleben, who is the co-founder of the Maine Beer Company, he ran for Senate last year. He withdrew. He's also a likely candidate. Jordan Wood is another name that they're putting out there, lost his congressional bid to represent Maine's northernmost district. And then Janet Mills, she was Maine's Democratic governor. She challenged Plattner for the nomination, but she ended her campaign in April. She said she ran out of money, so she couldn't do it. Well, so here's the problem with this Troy guy, this Troy Jackson. There's a group called Progressive Victory. So whenever any group is called progressive anything, they're far left. So Progressive Victory, and no one ever tells me what they're progressing towards, but they're just progressing. They're looking out for other candidates to replace Plattner. And they've run into some trouble with Troy Jackson, the former president of the Maine Senate. Progressive Victory put out a statement saying, we began asking our contacts on the ground in Maine about Troy Jackson earlier today after seeing many suggestions that he should replace Graham Plattner against Susan Collins. In our discussions, we have been receiving troubling information about not only Jackson's behavior, but the behavior of many prominent Maine Democrats towards women more broadly. They revealed that Jackson allegedly struck a female colleague with a bottle. And they say, both as a result of the credibility of the sources and in the interest of not seeing our movement make the same mistake twice, we are choosing to share some of this now. So in other words, finding out afterwards that the dude's got this problem, we're getting it out. We're going to get ahead of it. Quote, as Maine Senate president in a state Senate caucus meeting several years ago, Troy Jackson, in a heated disagreement, struck a female colleague with a bottle that he threw at her. There are many witnesses, and it appears this is a widespread open secret within Maine politics and not an isolated incident. This information is still developing, and we will provide updates in a thread in the comments of this post as we receive it. They added that individuals from Jackson's team are denying the claim, but they added, quote, it is not a credible refutation on its own. We are continuing to investigate. Oofa. So the communists are at least good at doing some background checking as opposed to the Democratic Socialists. The communists are much better at this. But what is the problem with men on the Democrat side? What is the... people in general on the Democrat side seem to be... I'm going to hear him. Seem to just be very angry people. And it's very hard for the Democrats to find an alpha male. They pushed men in general out of their caucus, especially white men, toxic masculinity. In an effort to lift women up, they just totally trashed men, and now they're surprised that men have left their party and are back, and they ran to the Republicans and like, well, why are they running to Trump? Well, Trump's an alpha, and so is Pete Hegseth, and so is a bit like you look at Trump's cabinet, they're all alphas, they're all super accomplished. The Democrats are running guys that they think look like an alpha, but aren't accomplished at all. They haven't done anything. They're not leaders. Being part of being an alpha is being a leader. And, the ultimate alpha male is accomplished and is a leader, but also, knows how to treat a woman, knows how to treat those who are weaker than him. Whether it's people in general, whatever it is, there's a certain compassion that comes along with them, a willingness to defend the others who can't maybe defend themselves. Now, Matt's saying that the rumor is that Plattner won't drop out if they choose Janet Mills to replace him. So he's trying to control it. And I think this is absolutely insanely, fantastically wonderful. And they did it to himself. They did it to themselves, rather. How about this little flashback? How about this little flashback that didn't age well at all? Can we go to cut 18? I love this. And this took a while for Elizabeth Warren to retract. It took a while. Here we go.
I am here because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Plattner is the fighter we need. You bet. I said to myself, that's my kind of man. Because that is a man who not only has the values, but a man who believes in accountability. And we need a little accountability coming out of Washington right now. We need Graham Plattner to come in and get rid of the corruption in Washington. Time for new laws.
That is just never going to get old. I may make that my ringtone. Graham Plattner is my kind of man. So it's their own fault. This is the reason they're in the position they're in. It's their own darn fault. So they have some replacements that they're talking about, but I honestly think that it's Troy Jackson is the guy that they were really running with because of the post that this guy on X, I wish I had bookmarked it. It was a picture from his screen, and it said, hey, if Graham Plattner should drop out of the race, what do you feel about Troy Jackson? I mean, they mentioned the guy's name in this, and this guy's like, wait a minute, I took a screenshot of this because I thought it was really weird. Good for him. And so that says to me that the Democrats have been gaming this for a while now because they know that Plattner was unelectable. And I think they got a heads up from Politico that they were interviewing this woman because they interviewed her 3 times in the span of 2 weeks. So they knew it was coming. Democrats knew this was coming. So they had it all lined up and ready to go. So I just absolutely love that Graham Plattner won't step aside. It's fun to watch. Anyway, well, sometimes it's nice when bad things happen to bad people, isn't it? The old saying, it's nice when good things happen to good people. Well, when bad things happen to bad people, sometimes the schadenfreude feels a little good. So I'm kind of rooting for Graham Plattner not to step down. Make them wait. And if you're going to do it, you step down on Monday at 4:59 and make them wait. Make them sweat it out. I love it. All right, more coming up. You're listening to 1210 WPHT.
Debt. We can all get in a bit too deep. Members of the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, can help you put debt in its place.
Credit cards took charge of my financial life. An NFCC credit counselor helped me get back in control. I took charge of my debt.
Student loan debt followed me wherever I went. My NFCC financial advocate taught me all I needed to know. I mastered my student loan debt.
We wanted to buy our first home, but weren't sure if we were mortgage ready. Our NFCC housing counselor helped us make a plan. We're on a path to our first home.
NFCC member agencies serve all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Convenient, helpful, knowledgeable, nonprofit. Financial advocates there for you.
We put debt in its place.
Be one of 5 million people to beat debt by 2020. Connect with an NFCC certified credit counselor at your local member agency today. Go to nfcc.org/stopdebt or call 877-410-6322.
If clutter is costing you time, fix it right away.
Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, and home offices. Schedule a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. Closetfactory.com. Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Your freedom to relax starts at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. Now through July 12th, save up to $5,000 on new hot tubs. Plus, buy any 3 hot tub products and get the 4th for just $1. Visit springdancehottubs.com. Offers end July 12th.
People ask, is PNC just a boring bank? Well, that depends. Is starting a business boring? Or being the first person in your family to go to college? For nearly 160 years, they've done the hard and occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. To see what boring banking can do for you, stop into any of their local branches right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Summer means vacations, road trips, and spending more time on the road with family and friends. United Tire is keeping America rolling by extending its 4th of July sale through July 18th. Receive an instant $104 savings on any set of 4 tires, plus free road hazard coverage on trusted brands like Michelin, Goodyear, Continental, and more. It's one of the best tire deals of the summer. Visit your local United Tire today. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Ready, set, summer with the Honda Summer Event. With impressive efficiency, sleek exterior styling, and sport-tuned suspension, the Honda Civic and HR-V have all you need to get summer ready with the most fuel-efficient full-line automaker in America. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Shop Piazza Hyundai of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield today.
See dealer for financing details. Based on EPA estimate of 2024 large full-line automaker fleet-wide fuel economy. EPA Automotive Trends Report 2025.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. Pain can be unrelenting, overwhelming, and all-consuming. So why do so many of us try to manage pain only from the palm of our hands? Doctor-prescribed opioids are appropriate in some cases, but they just mask the pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives, like physical therapy, to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. And by increasing physical activity, you can also reduce your risk of other chronic diseases. Pain is personal, but treating pain takes teamwork. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose more movement and better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area. This message is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
All right, welcome back. I am Mary Walter, and tomorrow Tom Azelby will be in tomorrow, and Friday Tom will be in. So that's good. You'll enjoy that. He's good. Just some news. The U.S. has begun additional strikes against Iran in response to what they are calling unjustified aggression. CENTCOM said the strikes are aimed at further degrading Iran's ability to threaten freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. That's where they've been targeting vessels. The United States is holding Iran accountable for recent unjustified aggression against commercial shipping and civilian crews freely navigating a vital international waterway, again, according to CENTCOM. So, there we go. All right, I wanted to delve into this a little bit. Everybody, I hear it from so many times on here, and we talk about it. I just hear from people a lot, like, whatever happened to Doge? Whatever happened to Doge? Because in the beginning, Doge was everything, because the left was losing their mind over Doge, because, oh my gosh, Elon Musk is going to have my social security number. Remember that was the thing? I'm like, the guy who's close to being a trillionaire wants to steal your social security number, really? Okay. It didn't make any sense. And listen, if you're in Jersey, your social security number's in that barcode on the back of your driver's license. So everybody's got your social security number, number one. And number two, that's not what they did. They just took aggregate data. They looked at voting rolls. They looked at social security and said, oh, Social Security, this guy's 137 years old. I'm pretty sure he's not alive. Why is this person still getting a check? This needs to be cut. And they compiled reports, and they sent all of that to the individual departments, and the individual departments are working on that, which is why you're seeing a lot coming out about waste, fraud, and abuse out of Agriculture Department with SNAP. They would say, look, here's a little convenience store in this little neighborhood, and they supposedly do $500,000 worth of SNAP every month. Like, how is that? That doesn't make any sense. So that's what they did. And they had promised July 4th of 2026, they would shut down. And they did. I didn't even know they were still operating, but they were. They shut down July 4th of this year. They wrote on X, far and away, the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. While the formal mission of DOGE has come to an end, the mission to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse will continue. Good stewardship of taxpayer dollars and accountable government are not temporary initiatives. We hope those principles endure long into America's next 250 years. It has been our greatest honor to serve the American people. Happy 4th. Now, I did not know this either. Now, this report, the number I'm going to give you is from October. So it's at least 6 months old. October, November, December, January, February. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, because this is July, so it's clearly more than 6 months old. This is October. As of October, DOGE saved taxpayers $214 billion. And they did it through a combination of things. Lease and grant cancellations. So grants that they were giving out, some of them they're like, were considered, I guess, not necessary or duplication, for whatever reason, cancel that grant. They did. Also, lease cancellations. They had buildings that they were leasing that were empty and there was nobody working in it. And the DOGE was like, why are we paying rent here again? So they canceled the leases. They also had federal buildings, asset sales. So they had assets that were not being used, sold them, get rid of them. Also, through fraud and improper payment deletion, they were paying people maybe twice, paying them Medicare, or Social Security in 2 different states. You don't get it in 2 different states. You get it once. Let's see, what else? Savings on interest, regulatory savings, and workforce reductions. Joe Biden increased the size of the federal workforce exponentially. And since Trump took office in January of 25, the number of federal employees has declined by 272,000 due to a combination of hiring freezes, early retirement offerings, we'll pay you if you leave, and firings. Approximately 140,000 employees agreed to leave the federal government through the Deferred Resignation Program, and that allowed federal workers to receive full salary and benefits until they departed in September of 2025. And I think it was 3 months that they got full pay and benefits. That's pretty good. I would have, if you realize your days are numbered, you might as well take it and go, right? Now, the Trump administration said DOGE is closing, but they're going to continue working down on waste, fraud, and abuse across the federal government. Brooke Rollins, Ag Secretary, posted on July 6th, so that was 2 days ago, about her department's effort to crack down on food stamp fraud in LA and elsewhere in the country. They put out 33 SNAP authorized retailers in LA received formal charge letters after search warrants were executed. Violations include trafficking benefits for cash, selling prohibited items like alcohol, beer, liquor, hard seltzer, vapes, and more. These retailers are facing disqualifications and significant fines, but this is just the tip of the iceberg in the fraud plaguing SNAP. Any other retailers or recipients participating in the abuse of taxpayer funds will be held accountable. SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler, the old PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, they exposed $200 billion in suspected fraud, and they have already returned $22 billion to the Treasury, and they referred over 500,000 borrowers to the DOJ. Imagine those love letters in the mail. Those probably were no fun. All right, coming up, Dr. Michael Bussler will be joining us coming up next here on 1210 WPHT. Oh, wait, am I early? No, I'm not early. 1210 WPHT. There we go.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
You know what I don't like? Paying for something twice. I can't stand that. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. That's why when it comes to your roof, siding, doors, and windows, there's only one call you should make, and that's to my guys at Emmons Roofing and Siding. Emmons is a platinum Owens Corning contractor, which means that Owens Corning backs not just the shingles, but the workmanship as well for life. That's right, for life. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, residential or commercial, done right the first time, every time. Go to emmonsroofing.com.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
It feels like every day there's something in the headlines that could make you wonder to yourself, is now even a good time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 28 years, and each week he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Get ready for Men at Work. And Toad the Wet Sprocket. Live in concert. Friday, July 31st, Event Center at Borgata Hotel, Casino and Spa. Get tickets now at theborgata.com. Don't miss Men at Work and Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Why should you volunteer with Meals on Wheels?
I'll come to the door with one meal and I'll walk away with a full heart.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org. Brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. military confirming it is carrying out another round of strikes against Iran for Iran's firing on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz Tuesday. President Trump at the NATO summit in Turkey telling reporters that the memo of understanding is over. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
President Trump had previewed that there would likely be more U.S. military action today. The president saying the U.S. would probably strike Iran, quote, hard again. We don't know exactly the targets in this statement. They are saying that this is in order to degrade their ability to threaten freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. But today we did also hear the president threaten to target critical civilian infrastructure.
In Maine, growing pressure for Democratic candidate Graham Plattner to drop out of the U.S. Senate race. It follows new accusations of sexual assault. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Under Maine law, Plattner has just 5 days to drop out to be removed from the ballot. State Democrats would then have 2 weeks to select a new candidate, but there's no exact roadmap for how that process would go. Overnight, the executive director of the Democratic Party of Maine saying Plattner's team has reached out, accusing them of trying to dictate the next steps.
Immigrant rights groups demanding an independent investigation into Tuesday's fatal shooting of a Mexican national in Houston. ICE agents are calling it self-defense.
According to his son, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo had been in the U.S. for nearly 35 years, working in construction. On Tuesday, ICE officers attempted to pull him over, but say that he sped away and then tried to run over an agent with his van. Hours after the incident, protesters were on the same street where Araujo was shot to death.
ABC's Jim Ryan. The Emmy nominations are out. The series Hacks set the record for the most nominations in a single year in the comedy category with 24. The Pit led this year's drama category with 25 nominations. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet Webroot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, Webroot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with Webroot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Fire crews in southern Europe battling multiple wildfires. Triple-digit temperatures and winds are a challenge. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli.
Record wildfires raging across southern Europe, burning more than double the seasonal average. Parts of France topping 100 degrees again, as the third heat wave of the summer is bringing devastatingly high temps across the region. 850 firefighters from around the country now battling flames in the hardest hit areas. One volunteer killed.
Those fires also leading to evacuations. An iconic Midtown commercial high-rise being converted into apartments with added floors is now stable, officials say, after support columns gave way. It caused several floors to sag and also raised concerns that the building could collapse. ABC's Aaron Kotursky is on scene and says crews are working around the clock to reinforce the structure.
Construction workers evacuated, then neighboring buildings, including 2 hotels, offices, and a school, emptied. Streets around the building shut down, bumper-to-bumper traffic stretched for blocks. For a time, the compromised building appeared to lean. The building, formerly the headquarters of the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer, is being converted into apartments. It's the largest such conversion in city history.
Extreme heat taxing the southeast. Extreme heat warning stretching from Virginia to Miami, Florida, where triple-digit temperatures are hitting and could last through the weekend. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Well, here we are again, and this is looking like a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train.
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Ron, the size difference alone is staggering.
Oh, unbelievable, Jim. And this guy is acting like he doesn't have a care in the world.
What is this guy thinking, Ron?
Well, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. Railroad tracks are more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk. From Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
From Jersey roots to the nation's air, she cuts through noise like she just don't care. Truth on the table, no sugar, no spin. If you wanna talk real, yeah, Mary's dialed in. Headlines breaking, but she's breaking it down. While the rest plays safe, she's the best in town. From across the globe to your ride home drive, she's got the facts and the fire. Liar, she'll never waver, yeah, she'll never falter. Turn up the volume, it's time for Mary Walter. It's Mary Walter Radio. Let's get into it.
Oh, thank you for that wonderful introduction. It makes me feel so loved. I do like that, Newman. Thank you. All right, joining us now, Dr. Michael Busler. He's the professor of finance at Stockton University, also the finance program chair at Stockton. He's also a Newsmax contributor. You can find him on X at MBUSLER. Welcome back to the show. It's good to talk to you again, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Mary. Thanks for having me. As you know, it's always my pleasure to be here.
I bet you'd say that to all the girls.
Just you and Dawn Stenson.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take it. That's good company to be in. That is very good company to be in. Let's talk about, you have a piece in Newsmax called The Illusion of a Profitless Benefits. Which sounds complicated, but if you read it, it's not. So you can go to newsmax.com and read it, the illusion of pointless benefits. And you talk about Mamdani and the rise of the socialists on the left. First of all, can you tell me what the difference is economically between a democratic socialist and a socialist?
No.
Okay. I don't think anybody can.
No, it's what they're suggesting is socialism. You know, people. I don't know if everybody knows the complete definitions here. So, just real quick, in capitalism, private property means a production privately owned, and all the decisions about what to make, how much to charge, how to make it, are made in the marketplace. Private property, market control. Socialism has private property but government control, and that's what the Democrats rather are suggesting now: government control in markets. They're talking about health care, probably taking over student loans and education. So government control of markets. Now, if you go to communism is government ownership of the means of production and government control. So some of the candidates that have been winning these elections, these democratic socialists, they call themselves, at least one of them is calling for the government to take over the means of production. That's why lately you hear people saying, well, they're just not socialists, they're really going to communists. And the reason is they're talking about taking over ownership of the means of production. But the original question, do I know what the difference is between a democratic socialist and a socialist? And the answer is no, I don't.
Yeah. One's a socialist and one's a socialist with a bow. Because
exactly.
I heard that the difference between socialism and communism is socialists want to take your stuff and communists do it with a gun.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Communists.
So you asked about the piece I wrote about
yes,
the role of profit. So Mamdani and some of these other socialists believe that, look, if something costs a certain price, some of that price is made up of profit to the business person. So Mamdani says if the government takes it over and removes the profit, we'll be able to sell everything at a lower price than a free market business would, is what he believes. The reality is Once there's no profit motive, so the government's not motivated by profit, they don't have to make a profit, business is motivated by profit, but once you remove the profit motive, then there's no incentive to reduce the cost. So for a regular business person, he says, look, I can sell something for so much. If I can get the cost down as low as I can increase my profit. So there's always an incentive to lower costs. And they might also say, if I get my costs down, I might be able to drop my price a little bit, still maintain my profit, and by lowering the price, I can pick up some market share. And with the profit motive, there's plenty of competition. And competition, you're always trying to make the product better, the service better, and or offering it at a lower price. So what happens is when you remove the profit motive, there's no incentive to reduce the cost. And as a result, costs just keep going up, and eventually the costs go up to where it's above what they can charge the customer, in which case customers aren't going to buy it, and then you end up having shortages of the product. So removing the profit motive ends up in higher priced products, not lower priced products, and it typically ends up in lower quality products. It's a terrible idea. In the article, I point out a couple examples of when they tried to use it in Kansas City with government-run grocery stores. I think the first example, they spent $29 million trying to get this to work, and it failed. And it will fail every time that you do this, simply because the government is not motivated by profit, and they decide what they want to give people, the price they want to charge. Where somebody motivated by profit understands you have to give people exactly what they want at exactly the price they're willing to pay, or you're not going to be successful.
When I think of a government-run grocery store, all I think of is empty shelves and lots of cabbage. I don't know why, because I just have this thing in my head that everybody in the Soviet Union is eating cabbage soup. I don't know why I have that in my head, but I do.
It may be. Certainly the empty shelves will eventually be there, and maybe the only thing left for them to sell is the cabbage. That's why they're having the cabbage soup.
Let me ask you a question. How do, Mamdani's doing this government-run grocery. That's what he's going to do. I mean, you have to pay people to work there. So if you're going with no profits on the groceries, where do you get a building? I mean, he's asking people to donate buildings to put these in, but you still have to pay for, which I think is hilarious. And you still have to, have electricity and running water. You have to have certain sanitation, right? You have to have bathrooms that are functional. So you got to pay those bills, unless taxpayers are going to pay those bills. I don't know how he does that. But don't you have to have people who work there? Or is the idea like when I go to the grocery store now, I'm a cashier and I don't get invited to the Christmas party every year, and I deeply resent that. But am I going to have to bring in a case of green beans and stock the shelf when I come in? Is that going to be part of shopping at the government store, that you have to stock the shelves as well as check yourself out?
I don't know. Something like that could be. The problem is when you're right. You need someone to work in the stores. So you hire people, and because you believe minimum wage is too low and people are underpaid, you start offering them higher wages than they would normally be able to get working in a free market store. So your costs end up going up. And again, you have no incentive to reduce the cost. You're not motivated by profit. So you don't really care what the cost is. You just tack the cost on, and that's it. But the costs end up being significantly higher, and that's why these never work.
Is there a way? And I'm because I'm thinking about something. I live in the People's Socialist Republic of New Jersey, and
so do I.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't know if you've heard of this. Depending on where you live, John Bon Jovi has this thing called the Soul Kitchen, right? And I don't know if you've ever been there. There's one in Red Bank and there's one in South Jersey. And what he does, it's a pretty interesting concept, and I could see it working with the grocery stores. People donated land. I know Max Weinberg gave him some land on his property where they go and they grow vegetables and things like that. And to work there, if you don't have money to eat, you can get a free meal, but you have to work. So you either wash dishes, you work in the kitchen, or you work as a waiter or waitress out on the floor. And you sit with other people at the table, and there's no fixed prices, but you can't pay less than, I think, like $10 for a meal, but you pay what you think the meal was worth. And everybody else who's working there is in recovery from either drugs or alcohol, and they get credit for working there, and they're learning a skill, and if they can't, they can get a free meal while they're at it. So the people who are going there to eat who can pay are paying it forward, and so this way they can buy, obviously, the other food that they don't grow, but they can also work on the farm and work on growing the vegetables. So I think there's a way to make it work, but since most socialists / communists never actually had jobs, they're all students. They're all students with rich parents. Yes. They're professional stay-at-home, children. They don't know how to make something like that work. And I find it ironic that super liberal John Bon Jovi came up with the idea.
Yeah, and I think it's an excellent idea. So you're not giving something to somebody either for free, or which means the taxpayers had to pay for it.
Right.
You're saying, look, we're going to sell these at reasonable prices. You help us determine what a reasonable price is. And instead of getting it for free, you have to work. So you do so many hours worth of work. Let's say you work for a full day, and that entitles you to, 3 meals or something. So something like that makes sense. And with Bon Jovi, there's no government involved here. It's him doing it. He found philanthropists who were willing to donate some land. There's plenty of land around here in New Jersey for things like that. But it's not a socialist. It's not the government control, and it's not the government giving taxpayer money. Remember, the government doesn't have any money. All they have is what they take from taxpayers. So when you say, well, have the government pay for it, you're asking other taxpayers who pay for their own stuff. You're asking them to pay for their own stuff and also pay for part of your stuff. And it's not the government that pays, it's the taxpayers that pay. And that's what a lot of people that say, well, I want a free house, I want a free this and that, that's what they don't understand. It isn't free. Somebody built that or put it together and expects to get paid for it. If it's free to you, it means that somebody else is paying for it for you. And the somebody else is the taxpayer, because the government gets all their money from people that earn their money and give a portion of it in taxes to the government.
Right. So when these little dumb bunnies look at me and say, well, in the Nordic countries, they get everything for free. Healthcare is, and they're some of the happiest countries in the world. So even though they spend a lot of their money in taxes, everybody's super happy there. They get free healthcare. Their schooling's fantastic. They have a better quality of life than we do. So how do they do it?
So if you want a lifestyle where somebody else is taking care of you, you can go to work, you'll give well over half of your income away in taxes, and the government then will make decisions for you, and they'll provide services for you. If they like that and they seem to be happy with it, sometimes I think these people, maybe they just don't know any better because they're happy with somebody taking care of them. And I know Americans, we like to take care of ourselves. So I'm not sure that system would work over here. But look, they're a wealthy nation with oil, and everybody's got jobs, and they all pay extremely high taxes, and they seem to be happy. My wife's Canadian, and the Canadians are the same way. The government's going to take care of this, the government's going to take care of that. Anytime there's anything wrong with me medically, my in-laws and things tell me, I don't have to go. I don't have to worry about paying for it. I just go to the doctor. Now the problem with that is because it's free to go to the doctor, at least no marginal cost to go to the doctor. Every time somebody's nose runs, they go to the doctor because it doesn't cost anything. So what ends up happening? Yeah, you can go to the doctor, but you have months to wait for an appointment. Real quick example: my daughter played field hockey in college. One of the girls was from Vancouver. The last game of the season, she hurt her knee. So she says, well, I'm going home. I'll get an MRI when I get home. So she went back to Vancouver. They told her 6-month wait for an MRI.
Yep.
The next morning, she flew back to New York City and got the MRI. So when something is free, people say, well, I can use as much of it as I want to. It doesn't cost me anything. I'll use as much as I want. And you end up with shortages of the product. And that's what's happening in Canadian healthcare.
Wait, but that doesn't happen, though, in the Nordic countries, though. Why is that? Is it because they're smaller? Like, I just say, like, to do something like this in a huge country like America, and especially with all the fraud that we have, because every program's so big, because the country's so big, look at all the fraud that we're finding in Social Security and Medicare and SNAP and this and that and everything else, billions and billions of dollars. Imagine how much fraud there would be in the medical system if we added yet another, if we nationalized it, it would be even worse.
You know, the Scandinavian people, they just have a different view of things than Americans do. So Americans seem to be motivated primarily, not necessarily entirely, but primarily by self-interest. You know, we're going to do something if it's right for us to do it. And we're in a country where we have the freedom to try basically anything we want. As long as you don't infringe upon anybody else's rights, you can pretty much do what you want to do here. Mm-hmm. So we have this individual mindset, and I think it allows Americans to go very far, and that's why we come up with all the best inventions and things. Scandinavia, and the Canadians too, from what I've seen, they seem to have more of a collective mindset. So we have to do what's right for the society rather than doing what's right necessarily for us as an individual. And because we tend to think like that, you know, something comes up and a law is passed, you say, well, I really didn't want that. You say, well, it's better for society, so I'll just accept it. So maybe there's, and I'm not a psychologist, but maybe there's a little bit of a mindset difference between Americans and some of these other countries.
Well, and that makes sense because, again, because those countries are smart, Canada's not. But Canada's not as populated as we are. But I see, look, in the Nordic countries, because they are so small, there's probably more of a one-size-fits-all ability, too. Because what works in Manhattan is not going to work in Casper, Wyoming.
Absolutely not. And you're right. Norway is that small. You know, it's more of a community sort of feeling because there's not that many people there. So I agree with you. And therefore, they can say, hey, look, we're all pretty much the same here. And when you have a government run anything, everybody tends to be pretty much the same, or at least the government thinks they are. So you know, we're all pretty much the same here. So let's pass a policy or an act and do something, and one size could fit all because we're all pretty much the same, I think is what their reasoning is.
Yeah, I kind of get it. So look into your crystal ball for me for a moment, if you will. And I want you to tell me, as we get more and more of these little socialists, these communists who have zero work experience, they're all professional stay-at-home sons and daughters of wealthy parents, most of them, like Ma'am Donnie. They've accomplished nothing. One of the ones who won in New York is in her 7th year of her doctorate program. So they're super indoctrinated, but they've really accomplished nothing. They've never gotten a paycheck, or if they have, it's because, you know, it's a very low-paying job. So, but they're going to run the finances. So as we see more and more and more of this, how do you see that playing out in this country?
So I tend to be optimistic about things. So I think what will happen, I think there's two things that will happen with this. They'll try some of these things like the government-run grocery store, rent freeze in Manhattan. They'll try some of these things, and after a few years, they'll see it doesn't work. The rent freeze will create a shortage of apartments. Happens every time you freeze rents, it creates a shortage of apartments. So they'll see the policies aren't working, and they'll say, well, maybe this is not such a good idea. That's one thing that'll happen. The second thing, which I think will have more of an impact, is I believe the Trump administration has set the groundwork for really golden years going forward. We got to get over this Iran conflict thing and get the oil at the right price. But once we do, tremendous amount of investment has come into the country from foreign countries. I think Trump said 19 trillion. Business investment here in the U.S. from American companies is going up significantly, mostly because in the big, beautiful bill, they put in a provision where if you purchase an asset, you can recover all of your capital in the year that you purchased it. In other words, you can expense it. Normally, I buy a building. The IRS says, well, it's $1 million. You can recover $40,000 a year for the next 25 years, and you have to depreciate over that time. And it takes me that long to recover my capital to reinvest. This year, if you make an investment, you can write the whole thing off in the year that you made it, and you recover your capital quicker, and you can make more investments. So with business investment going up, factories are being built, expansions are being done, new products are being developed. I think you're going to see some solid growth in the economy going forward. If it wasn't for this Iran conflict, I think by the end of the year we would have had inflation down to 2%, mostly because oil is very cheap, energy is cheap, and there's increases in productivity. So we would have had inflation down to 2%, and we would have had economic growth over 4%. Now, you get that much growth and not much increases in prices, and it ends up being very positive for the economy. There's opportunity for everybody. And these socialists that think, well, I don't have to work, the government's going to take care of me, see what they have and how it's not working, and then see the next door neighbor who says, hey, I'm working because there's plenty of opportunity out there, and how much better they're doing. I hope some of these socialists will take a look at that and maybe change their views more towards what's consistent with American principles.
Yeah, I think they have to fall flat on their faces first. In my, it's true, because they're so wed to this ideology because they've never lived in the real world. Mommy and Daddy have been paying their bills forever. Some of these kids, some of them are in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're still plugging along at being a stay-at-home kid. Yeah.
So, and you're right. Unless you've had to take care of yourself, and know that, hey, if I don't go to work this week, I don't get money, and I can't pay my bills. I have a rent, a mortgage, a rent to pay. I have a car payment. If I want these things, I have to go earn the money for these things. And that's really the difference with these socialists. They never had to go out and earn the money themselves.
Right.
They think, the billionaires have all the money. We can take that. They don't need all that. Musk is a trillionaire. That's horrible. We're going to take all that away from him. He doesn't need it. Let's share it with all the people, lower income people. And what ends up happening is the lower income people don't have to work. And then when you don't work, it just fouls up the whole system.
So, quick question, and then we got to run. Just since you're in college, since you're teaching in college, and you've got these kids, and they're taking finance classes, do they understand this? The socialism doesn't work, or are they of the mindset that this is absolutely going to work? What is their view on it?
So, in the School of Business, they're business oriented, and they understand business principles, and you can't get something for nothing. So I think they understand well.
Okay.
So Stockton was originally a liberal arts college, and they're still very strong in liberal arts. Most of the professors teach a liberal arts course. So I taught argument and persuasion, a writing course. And the students that are in the liberal arts schools, they're very socialistic oriented. They think Trump is awful and capitalists are terrible, and we have to do something to fix this, and we need change, and hey, the socialism sounds pretty good. Everybody gets everything they want. So some of those I'm a little nervous about.
One school is thinkers or feelers, and the other school is doers.
Exactly.
That's a difference. What a fun conversation. Dr. Michael Busler, you can find him at MBUSLER on X. Thank you so much for your time. We went a little bit over, but I appreciate your time, and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, and you as well. Always my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. All right, more coming up. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to 1210 WPHT.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
A well-organized home isn't a luxury, it's a practical upgrade. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, garages, and home offices, built to fit your space and your needs. You'll work with a designer, choose the look, and get professional installation, so the project stays simple and the results last. Start with a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Welcome to Bucks County Estate Traders.
Wow, look at the selection. So many great pieces.
If it's one-of-a-kind pieces you're looking for, you've come to the right place. We have a huge selection from high-end brands like Stickley, Baker, and Henredon. Or if you're looking for that vintage or antique piece to make a statement, we got that too.
I think I'm going to need a few laps to check everything out.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Happy hunting!
For quality high-end furniture built to last, visit their showroom in Hatfield or online at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back. Oh my gosh, this show flew. 7:30, I will be on N2 on Newsmax streaming channel on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Newsmax and the number 2. I will be on at 7:30 with Rick Leventhal. I haven't been on with Rick in a while. I go back to Fox with Rick Leventhal, so it's kind of weird. Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask, has anybody seen Young Washington? We're going to go see it. I thought it was going to be out of the theater Thursday, like Friday was going to be a new movie, and they've extended it. at the little theater we go to. We go to this little tiny theater, and I love it. It was owned by mom and pop and their family. Everybody worked there until COVID, and then it kind of went under. And then Kevin Smith bought it, and he plays all of his movies. Like he did a Clerks marathon when he first bought it, 24 hours. So he plays a lot of his stuff and a lot of like old, like Adam Sandler movies and stuff like that. But then he gets a lot of good first run stuff, and he's got Young Washington, and I've heard really good things about it. So if you either want to tag me in a post on X, Mary Walter Radio, or give me a call, 855-839-1210. And I know that Sal said he tried to call in and nobody picked up, but Matt says he apologizes. He missed the call. So that's that. All right. I want to talk about something. We were just talking about costs, right, with Dr. Bussler. And a report came out. It was published by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. And they combined immigration court records with government admin data. And they measured how the wave of illegal immigration that came in here between 2021 and 2024, unprecedented. We've never seen this in our country's history. So they wanted to see how that affected prices and cost of living in the country. They concentrated on labor markets and housing markets. They found that a 1% increase in illegal workers was associated with a roughly 2.2% rise in home prices and a 1.4% increase in rents. So all of these young people who are screaming about, I can't afford an apartment, I have to live with roommates. Oh, well, shut up. We all had to live with roommates. That's what your 20s are for. You live with roommates. I lived with a stranger, for goodness sake. You live with roommates. That's what you do in your 20s if you want to get out of the house. But so many of them are so comfortable being in the house. There's no reason why there should be no reason why they don't have money. But this is why. A 1.4% increase in rents, but 2.2% rise in home prices. So for those of you who are like, oh, it's boomers' fault. It's the boomers. I'm like, leave those people alone. Leave them alone. They worked hard. Like, well, my parents had a house when they were in their 20s. Okay. Your parents had like a 2, maybe 3 bedroom box that wasn't even 2,000 square feet with 1 bathroom and a half bath, no air conditioning. Stop. That's what they think. Like all the boomers like, just had all this stuff. They had one car garage. They're not realistic, but this is why. And these are the same people who want open borders. Everybody should be allowed to come into the country if they want to. We need a world with no borders. Well, they all want to come here, and then you're going to compete with them for housing. And this is what happens. That's a lot of almost 1.4% increase in rents, 2.2 in home prices. Researchers found little evidence that home building expanded enough to meet the added demand. Unauthorized immigrant worker flows accounted for about 30% of employment growth. So it was mostly 30% of that growth was people in the country illegally. About roughly 30% of home price growth and about 20% of rent growth in the average metropolitan area. And it only applies to the average metro area studied, and they do not suggest that immigration was the sole driver of the housing costs nationwide. But you can't tell me when you get 20 million people in the country in 4 years illegally, and you got to put a roof over their head somewhere. Look what they did in many cities. The hotels. We saw it in Colorado. Remember in Colorado, they were taking a low income apartment complex, and they had vets in there and some low income people, and they threw them all out. They canceled all their leases to put illegals in there because the government was paying more in rent than what they were getting from the people who had housing vouchers and those types of things. And they gave them like a day's notice. It was so cruel and so ridiculous and so horrible. So this is what happens when they're putting the illegals in. You saw it. We saw it in Colorado with the apartments. You saw it in New York with the hotels. That by taking the hotels like the Roosevelt and others. What was the other one? Broadway. There was a song that went with it, and I'm trying to remember the song. But anyway, they took that one too. It was a Broadway hotel, and they took that one. and they made it just for illegals. Well, that drives up. Now there's fewer hotel rooms available in New York. So what do you think happens to all the other hotels? Their prices go up. It's simple supply and demand. So anyway, yeah. So this again, the data in the paper showed that the employment growth caused by illegal immigration reduced labor income per capita. So there's that as well. It drives down the wages, especially for lower wage earners in the country, because now you're competing with a guy who's going to do it for cash under the table, and they don't have to pay insurance. They don't have to have they don't have to pay health insurance, and they don't have to pay insurance for him because he's working off the books. So this is why they would prefer to hire people in the country illegally. It acted as a positive labor supply shock, meaning that they increased the number of people that are available to hire, which is great, which sometimes drives down the cost to the consumer, like your landscaper or whatever. But I've never had someone come to cut our lawn and put the mulch and cut the hedges. I've never had that price go down. It goes up every single year. Every year. But we also make sure that they're legal. Like, I ask. Now, I don't ask to see, like, their papers. I'm not going to do that. But I ask the owner, I'm like, is this legal? We on the up and up here? And he knows that please don't send anyone here who's not legal, because I'm not going to be happy. And if I find out, I'm going to find somebody else. So the study only accounts for the effects of illegal immigration. It does not account the effect of legal immigration, like H-1B workers. How many times have we seen stories where Americans have to train their replacement because it's being filled by, a group of Indians who are coming over to do programming, and the Americans are out the door. Again, because it is cheaper. You can pay them less, and they're happy as all get out to get less than an American worker would. But they also don't have to give them as many of the benefits as you do to an American citizen. They said if both legal and illegal immigration are analyzed together, the results are even more overwhelming. Again, because those H-1B visa recipients come into the country, they got to have a place to live. So there go your rents up. As Silicon Valley, all the rent goes up because you're bringing more people in. So on the other hand, President Trump, the June jobs report, though, shows that the foreign labor force has fallen sharply because of President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration, and it's reshaping the U.S. labor market. So we're starting to go back the other way. The number of foreign-born people in the labor force fell by about 700,000 from June of last year. So in about a year, they dropped from 32.6 million to 31.9 million. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. The foreign-born civilian population fell by 571,000 so that's not a lot of people. We really should be deporting a lot more. That marks a significant reversal of the labor market from recent years when Biden expanded very rapidly the foreign-born workforce here. And how many times are we told, well, we need these people? Do you remember the Democrats and congressmen, those people, like they were doing practically everything but saying, but who's going to pick our cotton? They're like, well, who was it? It was a female senator or congresswoman, and she said, but who's going to clean our bathrooms? Who's going to clean our homes? And I was like, lady, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? I mean, granted, I was cleaning a bathroom on Sunday, the day after the 4th of July, and doing laundry, because, that's how I spend my weekends. And I thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody do it for me? But it is what it is. So I just think it's so tone deaf when we kept being told during the Biden years, we need these people. We need these people. No, Americans aren't going to do the job, so we need them. We're like, yes, they're just going to automate it, and then nobody's going to have the job. And what's interesting, the number of foreign-born men in the population plunged by about 1.1 million over the year. Foreign-born male labor force fell by almost 1 million, and foreign-born male employment dropped by about 812,000, but women was the opposite. Their civilian population foreign born, rose by 568,000. Labor force increased by 271,000, and employment rose by 305,000. So they say that the crackdown is having less of an impact on female heavy service sectors like childcare and healthcare than the sectors like construction and apparently truck driving that are primarily done by men. And did you see, like, there's another one. What is happening? We're not getting a hand on this truck driver thing. And we need to, because I just keep seeing story after story after story about Americans who are being killed by these people on the road, and they can't speak English. They can't read English. They get how they got their license, no one knows. A lot of times they just have someone take the test for them. But we need to start jailing the people who are hiring them. I'm sorry, if you're an employer, a lot of them are like Amazon and some of these companies. Just because someone has a trucking certificate, you figure in the clear. Well, he had a trucking license. I figured he was in the clear. Did you notice he couldn't speak English? Did you notice that? And maybe many of these aren't interview type jobs, but somebody somewhere in your company, somewhere along the line, has to talk to them. And if not, maybe we need to go after these people who are running these trucking schools and handing out these licenses. We need to start prosecuting people because Americans are being killed with alarming regularity on the road. And I will tell you, I don't know about you, but when I'm on the road now, I'm like looking because I'm waiting for the tractor trailer that doesn't stop behind me and I'm going to get squished. Or I'm just more aware now. Are you? I'm just more aware now because there's more people on the road. I don't, and I guess it's all the illegals. I have no idea where they all came from, but there are more people on the road, and it's crazy. A lot of people cannot drive. I don't know if they just came here and just got their license. A lot of Americans can't drive either because nobody pays attention. The American attention span is just ridiculous. I don't know. I just think that we need to start prosecuting people because what we're doing is not working. It's just not working. So if you want to jump in, 855-839-1210. Back with more on 1210 WPHT.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
See Joe Conklin at Parks Casino every third Thursday. It's Comedy Night, July 16th. Joey Cola and Gary Dolina. Get tickets at joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get ready to unwrap your best health during the Rescue Natural Supplements Christmas in July sale event with savings up to 73% off. That's right. The season of giving is making a huge summertime comeback with site-wide slash pricing on over 50 research-backed formulas crafted with purity, potency, and real science behind every capsule. From high-intensity omega-3s and doctor-recommended cholesterol balance to mobility, gut health, and even advanced cognitive support, now's the perfect time to take advantage of serious discounts and discover why thousands have trusted Rescue's quality and value for over 40 years. So celebrate Christmas in July with sale prices and save up to 73% off for a limited time. Ordering is easy. Just go to res-q.com or call a Rescue product consultant 800-26-ALIVE. You won't regret giving yourself the gift of finally feeling your best. Again, that's 800-262-5483 or online at res-q.com for up to 73% off today.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right. So we're just talking about driving. And, you know, where I live in New Jersey, we got Netflix and we got all the New Yorkers coming in. It's just, there's no reprieve in the summer anymore and in the winter anymore. And everybody's talking about, like, where are all these people coming from? What is happening? So we're just talking about all of the driving and how I just so much more hyper careful on the roadways because of more people. But also when I'm on the highway, I am well aware of the trucks now. I am well aware because I just think it's only a matter of time, God forbid, that something happens. But so I will not get in a Waymo. I will not get in a driverless car. It is not happening. I have seen too many stories about, like, the car can't drop you off right in front because it's no parking, so it won't drop you, or there's cars already there, so it won't unlock the doors, so you can't get out even though, like, you're at the grocery store, but you're not, like, right in front of the front door. So it makes you just sit there and you can't get out of the car. And where they had the car just kept going round and round, and it would round the block, couldn't find the place, whatever. I've just heard horror stories, and I am claustrophobic. I will break that windshield to get out of that car. That's just not happening. Well, and this is in California, San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and there were some kids in a Waymo, and it stopped and wouldn't let the kids out. Listen to what happened.
San Mateo police had a message for parents on social media, posting, quote, "Parents, do you know where your teens are? Waymo does." Police say it started Monday afternoon when Waymo employees monitoring one of their driverless cars believed 2 teens inside were drinking and firing what looked like a gun out of the window.
We got a call from a Waymo rep stating that there were 2 people in their vehicle and they saw them shooting out of the vehicle, and they also reported seeing a recoil.
Within minutes, Waymo shared the car's location with police, then remotely pulled the vehicle over near 20th Avenue and El Camino Real. The company told the passengers the car was having mechanical problems, keeping them inside until officers were in position.
We did treat it as a high-risk traffic stop, and we were able to basically remove the passengers safely and then search the vehicle and their property.
Investigators later discovered the suspected gun was actually an Orbeez gel blaster, a toy that fires water-filled pellets. The passengers, 14 and 15 years old, were released to their parents. Waymo declined our request for an interview, but on its website, the company says its vehicles are equipped with interior cameras and microphones and may share information with law enforcement during emergencies or other situations permitted by law. That's the part some privacy experts say deserves a closer look.
I understand that it was the observation of the gun, but was it people outside the car who called Waymo to tell them that this was happening, or was it something that set off the actual watching of the live video from the car?
Yeah, I don't care. It's no different than being in an Uber or a Lyft, and he's got a camera right there so that they can record your actions, because people are out of control. People are animals. And these people are bring strangers into the car. Our entire lives, we were always told, don't pick up strangers. Don't get in a car with a stranger. And here we are doing exactly what we were always told not to do. And sometimes it goes very badly. It goes poorly. And so I don't have a problem with Waymo having a camera in the car to monitor your behavior. I just don't. I mean, how many people would know, hey, that's a Waymo? Maybe they would. But if they're just shooting water, I don't know. And what's a 14 and 15-year-old doing in one of these things anyway? Where are these kids getting the money for this stuff? You have to have a credit card, right? You have to have a credit card, I would assume. So I don't understand. I don't know. What is the problem? That, like, out of everything that we just heard, that lady's problem is with the recording in the car, like watching them in real time. That's the problem. I don't know. I'm kind of like glad that they do it, because if you get stuck, at least somebody knows that you're stuck. So I don't have a super big problem with this. Anyway, I'm not in tomorrow. Tom Azelby will be here with you. I am back with you next week on Monday. So have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Thanks for joining me here on 1210 WPHT.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to